Hi everybody, it's Andrea, aka Violet Kitty 411, and welcome back to my channel. Special thanks to all the people who have recently been commenting, liking, and subscribing. That really does make this a lot more enjoyable for me. I really do want to get to know you, and I do try to answer all comments left on the videos. If I miss one, it was a genuine oversight. So obviously we are back in Strangetown. There is only one more to do before we move on to Veronaville, and kind of save the best for last. That's because at the outset of Strangetown I had decided to do them alphabetically. Obviously I got a little out of order when I threw in the Kims, but here we go. Serial killer. Who is buried in Olive Specter's garden? Will the mysterious aging outcast leave her fortune to her niece Ophelia, or, as rumored, to an unnamed heir? So yes, there are a lot of graves in Olive's yard. I definitely need to make sure we grab those, otherwise we will cause some corruption by disconnecting the Sims from their graves. Plus, let's face it, we want the graves. Let's go in and check. Okay, and of course the playthrough is starting. She wants to retire, but we're not going to do that. Is Olive really a serial killer? Well, let's look through her memories and basically make a decision on our own. At this point, she is a teenager. The pizza delivery girl died. Not suspicious. It could just be an accident. Then she got engaged to Early Demise. He jilted her and he died. Then his brother died. The repairman died. A random Sim died. A random teenager died. Her parents died, although that was in a fire, probably not intentional. Then the maid died. The exterminator died. Got engaged to Rigor Mortis, who was an elder. Got married, and he died. Then she kissed Euthanasia for the first time. Got engaged to Euthanasia. Got married. Hugh's brother died. Hugh died. She had woohoo with the Grim Reaper, who came to take away the delivery guy and a random teenager. She gave birth to Nervous Subject, who got taken by social services. Got engaged to Ichabod Specter, got married to Ichabod, Ichabod died. Then her sister and brother-in-law died in a drowning, probably accidental, and Ophelia grew up badly. So yeah, we don't know for a fact that Olive is a serial killer, but it's looking pretty suspicious, not gonna lie. So we definitely want to save all these graves and keep them in her inventory. So back in the neighborhood, we will go ahead and evict them. Yes, I want to evict them. They have a budget of $123,682, and the house currently sells for $47,221, and they had basically about $41,000 in the bank. Now the house itself is a pretty large ranch. I am definitely going to do something with the roof. Feel free to take a guess what I'm going to do. Write it in the comments and then edit your comment to tell me if you were right or wrong. Anyway, so here we've got, I just removed the roof obviously, and one thing I am going to do is actually right away put something on this level. That way the roof doesn't get funky. And by funky, I mean that the floor tiles can be problematic if you're trying to work with this. So yeah, strange floor plan. We've got the 2 bedrooms here, both with a completely useless door. All right. Then we've got a bathroom here, a hallway here, another bathroom. Not sure exactly what this is. This is the kitchen. This is the dining room that had exactly 2 chairs, and the living room. So everything is really weird as you have to go through a room to get to a room. I'm not going to worry about removing the textures, because the fact of the matter is the textures are all the same, so it's not that big of a deal. Now, the one thing I am actually going to do to the shell of the house is I'm actually going to fill this out back here. I do not like these columns. I do not understand the purpose of them because, you know, it's not part of the facade. It just doesn't warm the cockles of my heart by any stretch of the imagination. So we will be getting rid of all those columns, putting those 3 windows on the wall that I just created, and opening it up just a little bit more. But that's pretty much the only thing I'm going to do with the shell. Now you could probably guess that I am going to do a basement. And of course I am, because that just makes sense. We've got all this footprint. Why not? Makes things easier if they can use everything that they have. All right, there we go. And that should do just perfectly. We'll just go ahead and do that. And now find my terrain tool. Okay. So if you guessed mansard roof, A, you know my building style really well at this point, and B, thank you. Good job. You deserve a prize, a warm sense of accomplishment, I guess. Now, I am not actually a fan of this particular roof texture for this house. I mean, I like it for other houses. I just don't think it's the correct texture for this house, but that's okay. Make sure it's only one. There we go. And using the roof slope angle chooser, remember it's exactly 68 degrees. And then we will use the short gabled roof to put the roofs right back here where they belong. So we will preserve the overall visual look, but we've also recovered quite a bit of space. There we go. Now the roofs do clip in here just a little bit, so I might actually just create something of a wall between those two, but it doesn't bother me too much even if I don't while I'm playing, because I can put things directly against them and it works just fine in my experience. And so between the basement and the new mansard roof, I've almost tripled the playable space in this house. So I've got more to do. And like I said, they had about 40,000 extra simoleons when I evicted them. Now, as much as I do love a spiral staircase, I just don't think it works well for the theme of this house. And so that will definitely not be what I choose. I am going to go ahead and choose one of the more expensive staircases and place them. Okay, I have never used this in a build before, but I legitimately believe that the Bon Voyage tropical staircase for the temples is pretty much perfect. So yeah, let's do it. Okay, and I do want to have just 3 spaces above my staircase upstairs, so I'm going to make sure I have move objects on. Go to the staircase. I've got it mapped out exactly where I want it. I'm going to close those off. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use half walls instead. And after that, I will grab my staircase and put it right back where I want it. And voila, exactly the way it should be. And I think this staircase is, this half wall is a little awkward, but I have a feeling that they're going to be able to walk through it without a problem. Sorry, I couldn't live with that. It was too clunky. I chose this instead. But now let's go ahead and look at the floor plan that I have chosen for this. Now, one thing that was weird was there was a bedroom over here and a bedroom over here, living space over here, kitchen over here, dining room that presents to you right as you enter. The whole thing ridiculously awkward. So this is actually only going to have 2 bedrooms on this floor, but of course I do have option for expansion at a later date, but that's all I'm going to put here. So the front one will be like, this is actually 6 by 7, but I'm going to carve out a 2 by 3, no, excuse me, not a 2 by 3, a 2 by 4 bathroom right here. And then there's going to be another bedroom right here, a 2 by 3 bathroom right there. And then this is just a little connecting hallway. Over here on this side, for balance, we're going to have our dining room, which is 6 by 4. It's plenty of a dining room. The kitchen is going to be right here, a 4 by 4 kitchen, and then this area here is going to be the formal living area, smoking area, whatever turns Olive on. And I've got a surprise for here, a surprise for here, and down here, well, let's face it, we're going to have a dungeon. All right, so I'm going to start by putting a swimming pool down here in the dungeon. And you can't start your swimming pool next to any of that, any of the foundational walls, but you can start from the middle and work to the foundational wall, and you can do it twice, just like that. Although that does create some issues with the terrain, so I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, so to have it not mess with the terrain, what you're going to need to do is move your bushes so they are at least 1 tile away from the foundation. And now just pick a random paver. I'm going to use this one and put it all the way around like this, so it is basically trapped in. And now we're going to go ahead and dig our pool. Again, starting from the middle towards the edge, starting from the middle towards the edge. Then you can just remove those pavers, and it stays the way it's supposed to without messing with the terrain, and put your bushes back where they belong. Now we have our swimming pool, and we want a diving board, but you know what we don't need? We do not need a ladder. Now I do want you to know that you cannot actually drown your neighbors. I've tried. Apparently they have to live with you. So in the basement we have a pool for drowning, a series of jail cells, and a room for other interesting pursuits. Okay, so now that I've got the floor plan done, we're going to go ahead and give the finishes, I should say, and I'll be right back. Okay, and another thing that I wanted to do was change the color of the exterior columns and also the texture of the roof, because as much as the tile texture actually does work in the Southwest, it doesn't work for this particular build, not gonna lie. And also I'm gonna go ahead and grab this fence. Actually, not that one. I've got another one in mind. Yes, this one right here. Hold my shift key and put it down right like that, just to create a more finished look. And now for the roof texture, I'm thinking, actually I kind of like the steel roof, but I'm not married to it. I think that, no, not with the white trim. Yeah, with the dark trim. Or that. No, I'm thinking that. That just, it increases the overall forbidding nature of the exterior when you put those dark finishes on. And as I look at it, I think that this front one right here is a little too far forward, so we will just go ahead and delete that and create another 1x5, and there, that's what we're talking about. And just go ahead and paint that, and that way we have the interesting roof line and everything. There we go. Okay, so here's the final floor plan before I exit to the neighborhood. I did actually move this wall from here to here because I wanted to use these arches. So one goes in through the main room, or the front door, and there is the main hall. Kind of castle-y because you're presented originally with the dining hall, which is very castle-y to me. And so this is the main hall. I've got an idea for it. Wait for it. Over here, the kitchen, or the dining room, the kitchen. Ooh, I forgot doors into those. As a matter of fact, we will use archways. And then the little hall off which is the small bathroom, and Ophelia's room because she's trying for normalcy. Poor girl. She is paranoid. We feel so bad for her. And then this is Olive's room, but of course she's going to die in like 2 days, thank goodness. So I will exit to the neighborhood and then decorate it, and I will be back. So our ladies have arrived in their newly redesigned digs, and they're ready to check it out, so let's have a quick tour. Now I did change all the texture to a much darker stone, and as one enters the main hall, they are presented with a coffin, because although no one will, Olive expects people to mourn her passing, and she decided she will lay in state for 1 year so people can mourn properly. Off the grand hall to the right is the main living area. We have the dining room, the kitchen, and the living room. The dining room is furnished in medieval furnishings. The kitchen is blessed with high-end modern appliances, but very dark. As we enter the living room, we pass a bookshelf. We have an opportunity for a conversation area and a chess table, which is set directly next to the door because there is no reason not to. On the opposite side of the grand hall is a small hall off of it, from which you can enter Ophelia's room directly to your front, a small bathroom to the right, and Olive's room to the left. Ophelia's room is the closest thing to normal. She wants things to be normal. She remembers her happy childhood before her parents drowned. Both of the bathrooms are outfitted very dark. And in Olive's room, we've got the grand medieval bed, 2 of the dynasty chests, of course, right up against the door. Opposite of her bed is a medieval bench and a phone where she can call the love of her life, the Grim Reaper. At the bottom of the staircase, there's a hallway off of which there are many cells that have a cold stone covering and are sealed with wrought iron gates. Each cell only has a few leaves for comfort. And there is a swimming pool, also behind a wrought iron gate, with no ladder. And on the opposite end of the hall from the pool, there is a room with implements of torture. And although Olive has not been in the science or medical career, does not mean she's not interested in those. So here we have some things for her to experiment with. And standing guard in front of the graveyard is a cow plant, happy to take another life for our dear Olive. And as it rains and Ophelia debates whether or not she should mourn anyone, Olive looks over her glory and knows that the world will miss her. Anyway, that was probably the most morbid build I have ever done. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment, and I will see you soon in the pixelated world. And that's all I have to say. VK out.